Hi, you're listening to The Comedian's Tea Party with Si Deaves. Fair warning, this podcast may contain adult content. It may not. I don't know. I never really have a plan. So let's listen on and find out. Hello, and welcome to episode 57 of The Comedian's Tea Party with Si Deaves. This episode I have got the wonderful Kathryn Mather. Now, I would like to start with an apology for Kathryn because, as you'll hear at the end, I recorded this episode a while ago and this was an opportunity for her to advertise her Edinburgh Fringe run, which, if you hadn't guessed, this is coming out in September, has ended. That is over. So apologies to Kathryn. That wasn't the only reason she was coming on. We've been talking about getting her on the podcast for ages, so it was nice to get her on. But yeah, apologies to her for not getting this out anywhere near in time. And apologies for all of you for the gap that I've had. I was working on Camden Fringe through August, and that was time consuming. Very much so. So unfortunately, I didn't get much done at all. So yeah, frustrating month. Also, where I've been so busy, it's a long story. I'm all over the place. Currently, I don't have the notes that I've been making for the episode while I've been making it. It's a very fun chat. I can promise you that much. We are recording. Batteries just ran out there. I do have some of the notes which don't make sense. I start off the episode with a little bit of swearing, and I give these warnings all the time, and I've never had anyone say that they've got any issue with any kind of swearing. I think everyone understands that it's, an adult podcast, but recorded by adult comedians and musicians and such. If anyone does have any issue with it, let me know. Otherwise, I'll stop worrying about it. That being said, sometimes I like to make a game of bleeping out swear words, and Kathryn dropped more C-bombs on this episode than anyone ever has in the past. So I did bleep those out. I feel like if any word's going to offend someone, it's going to be that. Maybe I shouldn't worry about offending people, but, if it does limit my audience, then there's no harm in bleeping the bad one, as it were. We get a little bit serious in the middle, talking about relationships and just the general concept of happiness, but it's nice. It's a nice deep conversation, but broadly a very funny conversation. Yeah, we do start with a bit of swearing, talking about her mug that her sister got her, because as per, I often start these recordings halfway through. Kathryn is recording her end as well, so that's why, and she was late coming to it. So yeah, that's why there wasn't more at the beginning. But yeah, broadly nice. We also talk about bad bosses, because I had a particularly bad boss. And I don't think I've talked about it on here before, because I was worried about upsetting him to start with. There's me originally, worried about upsetting people swearing. You should hear what I say about this guy on the episode. I mean, he wasn't a nice man. Anyway, I know I've been talking about merch for ages, and I still haven't actually done it, but I've got something lined up. Basically, it's I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it's a past guest who also does design stuff. It's a guest that I'm extremely excited about, was extremely excited about when they came on, and I'm going to get in touch with them and ask if they want to do it, and not to give too many clues away, because I don't want to count my chickens, because it's literally just an idea that I've had. But I've been toying with the idea for quite a long time of having a live episode with this particular guest, who I think would be very popular. And then I'd do a little bit of stand-up. This particular guest would do a little bit of what it is they do. Maybe it's stand-up, maybe it's music, maybe it's acting. I don't know. Well, you'll find out when that comes to pass. I'm moderately confident I can make it happen. I just need to speak to that person and get it sorted out. Basically, the idea would be is that if I can get them to design my merch stuff, like T-shirts and mugs and badges and that sort of thing, then that live show can be the big release date. And I think that would be very exciting indeed. I think I've sort of finally started to accumulate enough stuff, and I've started to get enough regular gigs to start actually releasing some Patreon stuff. So that will be coming soon. So keep your eyes and ears out for that. Otherwise, we'll get straight into the episode. I'll speak to you again at the end. Enjoy the show. Let's close that with a wonderful mug that says "fuck off."
Mm-hmm. My sister bought it for me.
Nice. That's what you want from a mug from your sister, isn't it, really?
Uh-huh.
If it's not a mug that says fuck off, then what's the point?
Mm-hmm. She knows me very well.
Yeah. What is it you're drinking?
Just your standard Yorkshire tea. I have one cupboard in my house, and I had to buy 260 because that's all that were available. So now...
Sorry, for a second I thought you meant 260 cupboards.
Oh, yeah. Loads of storage space. But now, we're sorted. We get... What's 260 divided by 6? We get that many each. No, it's just Yorkshire tea with milk.
Sorry, I'm trying to do the maths. It's like...
I'm trying to work it out.
Yeah, it's like 92, something like that. Oh, if only I had something in front of me that had the technology to work such things out.
It can't be 92, can it? Because there's 6.
43.3. Yeah, I was wrong. You
were closer to being right than I was.
I'm not sure what I was trying to think of, to be honest, but I'll edit that mistake out because that's quite bad. I think I was doing... What was I doing? Some kind of percentages, but no, that doesn't make sense. I don't know. Who knows? Christ knows. I don't know what number I was working with, but it's a different number. Do you know what? If I'm cutting that out, then we need to stop talking about it because this will go on forever. How are you?
No, I think we should keep it in.
Yeah, maybe.
How am I? I am wonderful. Doing quite well. I'm talking to you. That's nice.
The dream.
Yeah, I got a cup of Yorkshire tea and a fuck off mug.
What kind of Yorkshire tea is it? Just normal, like red?
Yeah, just your standard one. It's got a little bit of milk in it and a little bit of sugar. Did go off sugar for a while, but it's a nice little treat, isn't it? I figured I could get hit by a bus and I'd be upset that I didn't enjoy my tea to its fullest.
Okay, so you don't enjoy tea to its fullest when it's got sugar in it?
No, I mean it because I was just, you're like, I'm not going to put sugar in stuff for health reasons.
Sure.
Which is valid.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, well, it's not the worst thing that I do, right? The worst thing that I do, I probably don't even know about it.
Yeah.
It'll turn out that, oh, by the way, the buses were made out of, lungi in metal.
Sure.
And you've just been doing that for years.
Sure.
So I just figured I just enjoy
thought you were talking about like just sort of like genocide in your sleep, like sleepwalking, but
oh yeah, I do that too.
Yeah.
No, I'm aware.
Oh,
I know what I'm doing.
That's not sleep then. That's...
I meant to kill those kids, Si.
Oh, good grief.
Is that too much? 3 minutes 57 in
to
the record.
It's a family-friendly podcast, for crying out loud. No,
Is
it's
it?
fine. No.
No.
I've had plenty of people who most people are into genocide. Actually, it's you'd be surprised. Yeah, weird.
Yeah, I mean, if you could cut that bit out though, so I don't get caught. I feel like if I'm leaving the 2 or 3.
If I'm leaving the maths thing in, then I'm leaving that in.
Okay, that's fine. But I just feel like I've got another good 2 or 3 genocides in me. But if you were to put this out, then I get caught. And think of all that wasted potential, Si.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be the bad guy in that situation.
It'd be a bit like Clockwork Orange, wouldn't it? Where at the end you feel a little bit sad for him, and you're like, hold on a minute, I'm feeling sad because he can't rape anymore. That's not good.
Yeah.
Why do I feel sad for him?
It's a weird one. Certainly a weird one.
I think what I meant to say is, how are you, Si?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, good. I'm well. Thanks for asking. I'm drinking I'm drinking a super berries tea from English Tea Shop, which naturally caffeine-free South African rooibos tea and hibiscus combined with the explosive fruity flavours of real berries.
But it doesn't actually have real berries in it.
Yeah.
It's just the flavours of real berries.
Yeah. No, it has got berries in it. Not much.
Okay.
We've got 63% hibiscus, which is why it's dark red. Organic rooibos, 19%. Oh, so the hibiscus is 63%, 90% rooibos, 5% natural flavourings. So it's still natural. 4% organic spearmint. Hey?
Everything's kind of natural.
No.
Right? If you extrapolate it.
I mean, like you still wouldn't want to put pure plastic in a drink.
No, I'm not advocating that. I'm not a monster.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose everything's made of everything's carbon, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on. What else is in that tea?
We've got 4% organic spearmint, 3% organic raspberries, 3% organic strawberries, and 3% organic blueberries.
Okay. Yeah, that's not a lot of berries, but I can see why they can get away with saying it's got some in it.
Yeah, 9% berries. But then it needs to be a certain amount of leaves, otherwise it wouldn't be tea.
That is true. That is what my grandma always used to say.
That is, I remember her saying it.
Yeah, that's where you get it from.
It's a catchphrase.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing for her to say quite regularly. Sometimes, in this particular scenario, it would have made perfect sense, but, on a water slide in Thorpe Park, bit of a weird thing to come out with, but when you've got a catchphrase, you've got a catchphrase, haven't you? Such is the nature of catchphrases.
It's true.
Yeah.
Is Thorpe Park near Thorpe Bay? I realise that there's different ways of me to find this out, probably more effective ones, probably ones that are less embarrassing than just admitting that I don't know geography on a podcast.
Yeah, no,
it's
absolutely
not, is it?
No, extremely far away.
No, I can see in your eyes. You think I'm daft.
Yeah, I was excited when you asked that because I thought that's one of the most stupid questions anyone's ever asked on the podcast. So,
yes.
Yeah,
if you could put me on some kind of podcasts to listen to where the guest asks daft questions.
Yeah, it's this one.
Yeah, it's that.
But as it happens later on in the podcast, I will ask you not equally daft questions, just daft questions. Nothing's going to be as equally daft as that. No, I mean that's it kind of makes sense. But then that's like asking if London Road is in London.
But it leads to London, right?
They all lead to London. Yeah, apparently I say that. I said that confidently, and then suddenly thought I can't guarantee that. I know the one in Southend does. And
the one in Brighton does.
The one in Brighton does. Yeah, I'm tempted to say that it would do, but then I grew up on Oxford Road, which was a short road, so it didn't lead to Oxford.
No. Not even slightly.
No, it may have been pointing in the right direction. Would it have been, though? Maybe. It's not impossible. Yeah.
Like pointing your prayer mat to Mecca kind of thing.
That's right. Yeah, we pointed our road to Oxford.
Yeah.
And with any kind of seismic shift, we need to move it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then there's I think there's like an Alton Gardens or something nearby, and that's not near Alton Towers.
What do you think of Alton Towers? Have you been?
I have been. Yeah, I've been a few times. Well, it's I believe the nearest like major theme park to me, I think.
What about Adventure Island?
It's not major.
It's almost the same as Alton Towers.
Yeah, the problem with Adventure Island is I can pretty much see the other side from the opposite side, and I don't want that from a theme park.
You can take all of it in one glance, can't you?
Yeah. You would struggle to do that with Alton Towers unless you're in a plane.
Yeah. I think that they should. You know how, like, with meat and potato pie, or like you get a butter pie, which is it's a potato pie, but they have to put the bit that's got the most. So there's more butter in a butter pie than there is potato, which is why they've got to call it a butter pie.
Right.
The thing that it has most in, it is the first in the description of it.
Yeah.
It's very early. I'm not describing this very well. Very inarticulate. But I just think with Alton Towers, instead of calling it like a theme park, they should call it a queuing park, because that's the primary thing that you do there.
Yeah, that's the predominant feature.
Yeah. I've done more queuing at Alton Towers than I have done rides.
Have you been out of like term time?
Yes.
Okay. Because that's the best option, is you go in, you know, like mid-March. Because it's poor weather, but potentially not raining. And, you know, kids are in school. I went to Euro Disney on a school trip in year 9, and we I don't know if we just like got up particularly early, but my friends and I went on Space Mountain, I think 9 times in a row, because there was no one there, and the opportunity was there just
sick at the end.
Yeah, no, we did. It was great.
I like that.
Brilliant. Yeah.
That's one of my favourite rides.
We ended up the last like 2 times we had to queue slightly longer, and by the time we sort of came out on the 9th time, the queue was quite long, and we were like, nah, let's go on something else. And then we watched Honey, I Shrunk the Audience.
Ah, I remember that. See, I went to Disneyland Paris on a coach, but I feel like that at that age as well. But I feel like that was a very different experience. My journey getting from Manchester to Disneyland than your experience getting from Southend to Disneyland.
Yeah, we probably got to Disneyland in the length of time that it took you to get to Dover.
Yeah, it took us about 16 hours to get to Dover. It was... No, maybe not that long.
Oh, I mean, then we got there much quicker.
It's one of those where it stops everywhere.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it wasn't a school
So we
thing.
had to get... No, I went with my mum,
right.
my sister, my mum's friend. And
oh, yeah, that's long. Yeah, because we're close enough to Dover that, like, the coach just went straight there. Our first stop was the Channel Tunnel, so...
Yeah. I felt like I'd been through shit, you know, just to get there. And we only went for a weekend.
Yeah, you don't need that. That's unpleasant.
No, at 15, when you're like, I can't recover from this. That's a bad journey, isn't it, that?
That's not the dream. Certainly, quite unpleasant.
Mm-hmm. And then we had to travel back on my birthday. So...
Oh no! Oh, what a way to spend it. I mean, that's the whole day as well, really, isn't it?
It is, and then we got stopped at customs, and you know, it's like show our passports and shit, and you know, and you're like, she's going to say happy birthday, and she just glared at me and told me to go away. I'm like, oh.
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah, you have moments like that, don't you? I think that's sort of like main character syndrome, isn't it? That's where you're convinced that you are the main character of all of the stories. So you're just like, yeah, this is a surprise party for me. The customs officials, they've got me a cake. You know.
Yeah. Hey.
Rarely is that the situation.
Yeah. Have you ever had that in a customer service role though, where you've been able to wish a happy birthday to somebody?
Well, yeah, I used to work in bars, so sometimes you get people coming in for their like first pint, legally, and that's nice. You wish them happy birthday, and they look at you with the hope in their eyes of, "Are you going to give me a free drink?" No.
Welcome to adulthood, dickhead. That'll be $6.97.
$6.97.
But it's a half pint. It's a half pint of Camden Hells.
So
this is Camden, buddy.
So it's a full pint £13.94.
Yeah. I don't know. I paid knocking on £7 for a pint of Camden Hells in Camden.
Really? And it's coming from the source as well.
Right! I can see... What is the cost incurred here?
Yeah.
I can
if
see
you
the
had to-
brewery.
Yeah. There's no shipping involved, is there? Like, if you had to drink milk directly from the teat of a cow, I wouldn't I wouldn't be expected to be charged for the bottling process and pasteurisation.
No, but I would go to that fucking farm.
Yeah, that'd be a weird farm.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I feel like there'd be a lot of
Sounds
people
great.
dressed in surprising amount of leather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is cruel when you think about it.
Oh, it's very cruel. Yeah. But then I suppose that is what baby cows are, isn't it? Just covered in leather.
So adult cows are. We're kind of covered in leather. Go on.
I suppose. Yeah, could you make leather out of human skin?
Yeah, Ed Gein did. That's why he got arrested.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah. Yeah, it's a fucked up individual. When was he around?
I don't know. I want to say... I can Google it. My guess, I want to say like 70s, 80s.
Was it that recent?
What's your... I'm going to Google it. I've not looked down at the screen yet for his years of activity.
Yeah, well, in my
What
mind...
era? What is...
He was going to be like 19th, 18th century.
Really? Oh no, Lord. There's photographs of him.
Oh, it's photographs of
Okay,
him.
so
Are there?
he-
Oh, Christ. See, we're both getting things horrendously wrong today. You thought Thorpe Park was in
Years of-
Southend.
It's right. So he was born in 1906, died in 1984 in a mental institution, which is fair enough.
Yeah. Probably the place for
Span
it.
of crimes: 1947 to 1957.
Jesus. So, when was he born? Sorry, 190.
06, I think. Yeah, 1906.
So he started when he was
in
41.
Wisconsin.
It's interesting to know, like, because people they often get to a point, especially around like you're slightly younger than me, I believe. I'm 37. I'm born 38 on Friday, but
Oh, happy birthday!
thank you very much. But people they always turn to me and they say, like, I'm too old to try something new, and I'll go for a list of people who started stuff sort of later on in life and they're now extremely successful, and I think that's quite an inspirational stories. You can start doing horrendous murders, making furniture out of people's faces at 41, and you can have a long prolific career doing it. It's fair play, isn't it?
Yeah, I think his mum died and he missed her. That was the thing, wasn't it?
Is that what it was?
I think so. Yeah, your mum can die any time.
All right.
Why not enjoy it? Not you specific. I assume people are listening to this as well.
Oh, sure. Yeah, make a little puff out of your mum.
Yeah, why not? You're not allowed to call them that anymore.
Very, very good. I've heard someone pronounce
Hey.
it puffet, and I think that's just because they're trying to avoid the pronunciation of puff. But I'm pretty sure it's just puff. Which
It is
now
a puff,
just, hopefully no one. I do my own clips on this, so I'm not going to take that out of context. But there's a good chance that someone else might have.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't see good puff anymore, do you?
Do they not just call them like
Footstools.
leg rest?
Yeah.
Footstool, yeah.
I've just bought a footstool
Yeah.
actually. I've got a little. It's like a storage
Okay.
can.
Yeah, I love them. 2 in 1. What more
Yeah.
do you want?
Yeah, and it doubles up as a little seat as well, so handy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Perfect. I bought an armchair and then I got the matching footstool for it, and it was at the other end of the tube line in London. It was very cheap, so I was like, you know what? I can just go and pick that up, no problem. I did. I went to the house, got it, and getting it back home on the tube, it got very heavy very quickly.
Yeah.
And you've brought your own chair to the tube.
Yeah, at
And
least you've got
everyone's
something to
looking at
sit.
you like you're... Everyone's looking at you like you're a cunt because you're taking up the space of about 4 people.
Yeah. I probably would have done it differently.
What would you have done?
I'd have asked someone if they had a car.
Yeah. You have a car though, don't you?
I've got a car, yeah. You've got a car now.
Yeah. I have got a car. Not very good at driving it, but I've got a car.
No, I was talking about this the other day with Robin Perkins. For the listeners, I did a festival in Shaftesbury with Robin Perkins, and we were having a lovely chat on the way back. I gave her a lift back to London, but we were talking about you because she was saying that like she has a driving license but hasn't owned a car since she lived in America, which was 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. And you went a similar length of time not driving, right?
Yeah, 10 years. So I passed at 20, but like insurance was insane. And like I'd have needed about $2,000 to get going, and I was earning about £200 a week in a cafe job and living at home, so the numbers did not add up. So yeah, I was only actually able to afford a car at 30. So it's just been 10 years where I've lived in London for 7 years, so you just, like, even now, I'll be looking to try and practice and just do, I've got a gig in London, I'll drive to it. But then you've got to pay for, like, parking. Oh my god, parking in London. It's like just 20 quid for 2 hours or something. It's insane.
Yeah,
and
you
then
need to learn.
Pay congestion charge.
You need to learn where to park for free. I'll tell you all about it. I've got a lot of secrets.
But that doesn't happen in London. It's all...
Does
it?
Yeah, I can tell you where to park in central London without paying.
Free?
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, I've got all the tips. I drive to.
But there's many
drive to all gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a rule.
Generally, yeah.
What do you not like? But do you not miss being able to have a nap on the way home?
I still do.
The gig.
No, I don't tend to drink at gigs anyway. I don't drink before I go on.
No,
Sometimes I'll just have a pint after. But it depends where I am. For instance, when I go to do the stand, any of them, if I'm staying overnight, then they do cheap drinks for performers. So yeah, I'll have a few then. But that's easier.
I think we met in a car share, didn't we?
Hey?
We met in a car share, didn't we?
No, possibly.
It was Comedy Ladder.
That's not when we met.
No?
No.
Had we met before that?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. When I drove us to it. No, when Matt Adlington drove us to it.
No, you drove me and Celia De La Torre from London.
Was that when we first met? Do you know, it may be.
I think so. Because I remember that we'd driven the whole way there, and then you're like, oh yeah, I'm half blind. And
okay.
we're like, oh.
Yeah, not half blind.
And then you're like, let's all get back in the car down these winding country roads.
Yeah, we made jokes about it during the gig. That's right.
Yeah, we did. Is there a taxi service available?
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Oh well, that was it's more recent than I thought it was. I thought we'd met previous to that. How long have you been going?
About 7 years.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
How long have you been going?
Just over 9.
Yeah?
Yeah. But then, do we count lockdown?
That's the question, isn't it?
Because I know some people are saying, like, oh, I've only been going so-and-so amount of years. And I'm like, you started before me, and that's less years than I've been going. Then I realise that they've discounted 2 years for COVID.
Mm-hmm. It's difficult, isn't it? Because I think that if you did nothing during lockdown, it would make sense to not count them. But I did quite a lot of Zoom gigs. I did quite a lot of making videos and shit. So I still count those because I feel like my career advanced through lockdown because I kept doing stuff. Whereas I think a lot of people just are like, oh, I'm above a Zoom gig. I'm not doing that. And then came back out being like, oh no, no one knows who I am. And then back on the open mic circuit. Put the work in there.
I did some Zoom gigs. I avoided any until the front row was commonplace. I tried to avoid them because I just didn't want to talk into a void and not know if people were enjoying it, because that is galling enough when you do it in an actual gig. That's it's a tough thing to do, that, isn't it? But I did a few panel shows and I did loads of podcasts. So You know, I continued it as a comedian, even if I didn't necessarily do that much stand up, but I was still comedying. So yeah.
Yeah. Did you grow to like the Zoom gig, or was it always just a no?
But yeah, I didn't mind it. Like certainly by the end, I was sort of getting a bit more used to it. You may notice through this camera, I look wonderful. I bought this sort of not expensive, but certainly not cheap webcam right at the end of lockdown, and then I was like, oh, now I'm ready. Now I can do this properly.
Yeah, I've got a ring light. I
have got a ring light.
Yeah.
I don't think it's plugged in.
I really, really liked Zoom gigs because, in my mind, right, I was always pissed. I just put a nice top on and some lipstick. Yeah. Because you couldn't see that I'd not got makeup on. I'd be half in my pyjamas. I would be in bed. I would just... Because you get no feedback, which is, fine. I would just assume that I'd smashed it. Yeah. Because I could have done. As equally as I could have not done. But it doesn't matter, because I've got no feedback, so why would I be like, I did poorly? I was just like, yeah, absolutely fucking smash that one. Yeah. And then I would close the laptop down, and I'd be at home. I wouldn't have to travel home from the gig. I was already home. I would take that cash. None of it would be... none of it would go on travel or, the sandwich that you've got to buy at the service station or whatever. All of it is profit. It was a wonderful time for me. I wish we could go back to it.
Yeah, they certainly had their advantages. Did you do any Zoom corporates?
Kind of. There was like a couple of groups. I think there was like a gym group once who just wanted to put something on for them. And that was lovely. They were nice people.
Oh, really?
Did you?
No. I heard about them, though. But, like, people were saying, they had the same vibe as a normal corporate because it's just an audience full of people that didn't really care about what was going on. But similarly, they didn't have to leave their house and earn similar money. So from a corporate, that's pretty good.
Yeah, because I think at a certain point you just got to be like, fuck it.
Yeah.
This is you can't enjoy every day at work, can you?
No. Sometimes
it's gonna be a bit,
especially when you're doing it in your pyjamas.
Yeah, I'll take it. I don't care.
Yeah. Not bad.
Yeah, long live the Zoom gig.
Yeah, bring them back. Some people still do them. Part of a group chat that occasionally sends messages out asking for people, and I can't be bothered, but it's there.
Oh, I did one. I don't know. Did you do any of these like this? It was a Zoom gig, but at the venue.
Oh no, I watched some.
Yeah, it was fucking weird. That was weird.
Yeah.
So it was at the Frog and Bucket.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a whole venue, but so you go on stage and you had like a little earbud that you put in.
Oh, so you were physically on stage? Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
And they play the music and everything. And then there's just a TV screen with just, the faces of people, and like my mum were there. Looking into the camera.
Could you hear them?
Yeah, so you had a little earbud
in
so that you could hear, and a little sort of pack on your waist so that you could hear them laughing.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you were performing to an empty comedy club with just like the other acts sat there in their coats because they'd not put the heating on because it was expensive to do that.
Yeah.
And why would they? We all have coats. And like a couple of sort of techs there just doing their work, and I'm glad I did it, but it was fucking weird.
Yeah, that is. It sounds pretty good. Yeah, I watched one from the Monkey Barrel that was like a fundraiser for the Monkey Barrel, but that's very enjoyable. Yeah, no, I didn't do a great deal. Like I did, I pretty much I picked and chose the ones that I was doing. So I did a really really nice one for Outside the Box. That had hundreds of people watching, which was lovely. It went really well. picked up some fans. So delightful. It's the dream.
Absolutely, yeah. And that was wild, wasn't it? Because he just sat there and, like, I'd have to say to my housemates, don't come in the living room for a bit.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, why? And I'm like, because there's 120 people on the other end of my phone.
Yeah.
Wanting to watch me tell knob gags.
I was using the... we had an office in our old house. And my ex would be downstairs texting me just like, can you stop talking so loudly? I'm just like, I'm not earning money.
I'm at work.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Just watching Death in Paradise.
Yeah. Granted, I am in my gym jams, but I am at work.
Yeah. Half of it is in my pyjamas. Top half. Very presentable. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say, top half gym jams, bottom half very presentable.
Yeah, you're doing it the wrong way around. Just Winnie the Pooh in it
No.
a lot of the time. I found it. It was quite nice. Is that I've managed to get it all set up in such a way that I had my my notepad next to the webcam, so like you couldn't see that I was looking at it. It looked like I was looking at the webcam, but I didn't have to remember sets. It was wonderful.
Yeah. Oh my god, I had a couple of job interviews actually as well through lockdown. And that's what I did. I literally Googled what are the interview questions for this kind of job.
Oh, great.
Prepared answers for them. And you know what a job interview is like. You know, they're all basically, tell us a time when you showed compassion. You know,
Yeah.
Just make the answers, whatever.
Genocide.
Them all around the webcam. Yeah. It's the best thing that we can do for them. They won't have to deal with the nuclear fallout. This is a hospital job, by the way.
Oh dear, yeah, that is something that you do, isn't it? Yeah.
I got every job I applied for during the lockdown.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did I? I can't remember. I was made redundant during lockdown from...
what were you doing?
I was working in the music shop, and but I was the drum specialist, and there wasn't a great deal of call for drums during lockdown because they're loud. And,
they are loud, yeah.
Yeah, so they ended up closing the drum department.
No.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, you can come downstairs and sell guitars if you want." I was like, "I can, but like I don't know anywhere near as much about guitars as I do about drums." So
yeah,
no. Well, no, that didn't really give me the option at the start. They asked me if I wanted to go back to sell guitars, and I was like, it's not really my thing. I already had another job at that point. But I did a temp job working in a factory fixing the motors for like the inflatable hot tubs that everyone's buying. Obviously, it was very popular during that time. And they said like, oh yes, like a 6-month contract. You'll be all good until whatever month. So I went in. And we did it, but like the manager was such a twat. One of the biggest pricks I've ever met in my life. And if I could remember his name, I would tell you.
They always seem to end up in management as well, don't they, that guy?
Yeah, he was an incredible prick. But he had loads of money, but every single day he came into work wearing a T-shirt with a hole in it. I'm like, buy new clothes, mate. You do better. Like, you can do better. But no, he was just an incredible prick. It's a factory in Hockley next to, sort of like a few units down from Monkey Business. Just in case anyone's listening and knows who that is, you can tell him from me, who is a massive prick and he made my life hell. Then what I particularly enjoyed about that was I worked with another guy. Oh, so the reason I brought that up was like he was such a dickhead that we were just like working as quickly as we possibly could. That meant that we ended up doing the whole job in like 2 months, just over 2 months. And then he said, okay, I haven't got any more work for you, so you're gone.
Wow.
Yeah. And then he turned to the guy that I was working with and said, I would like you to stay on though, so I'll give you a job, but not you. Talk to me.
And
I was like, that's fine, because I don't want to work for you anymore. It was just... Oh.
What was the first time that you found out that Zoom only did 40 minutes after they realised that everybody was using their service and not paying for it?
Yeah, I can't remember. It was a useful time. There's other options as well. There are things that we could use that would allow longer recordings that I don't think you have to pay for. And if I'm quite honest, I don't know why I don't use them.
Yeah, like Riverside, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Do you remember that song?
No.
No, okay. Nobody does. I think it must have just been my generation. It was quite formative when I was at college.
Okay.
The first time that I found out that you had to pay for Zoom was during a therapy session. And I thought that I'd just been kicked out, just like, you know what, I'm tired of your bullshit, actually, Kathryn, after 40 minutes.
Oh, no. That's upsetting.
Yeah, that's how we both found out. So
I mean, yeah, if they weren't aware, then fair enough.
No,
but...
I think they'd literally changed, implemented it during our session.
Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, that's not ideal. Yeah, you would have to assume
a comedian in therapy. What?
I know, it happens sometimes. There's one or two.
Anyway,
go on. Yeah, no, I just remember. I can't remember exactly where I was in the story, but basically, the other guy that I used to work with, that they offered the job to, he I knew full well that he was going for a different job. So I didn't want to work there anymore because the guy was awful, and I knew that guy was trying to get another job. So he was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll do the job," and then left. I think within 2 days, which is delightful.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, incredible dickhead. He was horrible. I'm pretty sure. Well, yeah, no, I'm often happy to say that it's the worst job I've ever done. And he talked to everyone like shit, and he'd shout at people, and he didn't necessarily like me because I shouted back at him because I don't deal with authority particularly well anyway. Hence being in the business that we are in, because I don't have to deal with that. But yeah, he wasn't nice. He wasn't a good boss. And I've had good bosses. I've had great bosses, but he was an incredible dickhead. And he also once tried to make me cancel my birthday plans.
What?
Because he said like, "Oh, I've got some extra work for everyone to do, and I need to come and do it." And I was like, "Well, I've got people coming around," and he said, well, "It doesn't matter. Like, you need to come and do this. I need you to do it." And I was like, "Well, no. Like, can I bring my car and then just leave early?" Because it was like an extra bit of work to do. And he was like, "No. You'll jump in a car with us, and then we'll give you a lift back." And it reached a point, and I was like, "I've got to go, mate. It's literally my birthday today. Like, my family are at my house. Like, what the fuck are you doing?" And he ended up being like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't realise." I was like, "Well, you did realise. Like, I absolutely told you." But yeah, he was a prick. But,
see, I hate all of that because I think ultimately you will not remember that job, but you will remember your birthday being ruined by some cunt.
Yeah.
And so I used for 4 years I hosted a podcast about bad jobs. And I promise I'm going to bring it back, but I just don't know when. I'm tired. I was doing it weekly. I'm not very good at editing. But from that, so that's 4 years of research, just interviewing people about the best and worst jobs. Manager is overwhelmingly why jobs were bad.
Yeah.
Like, I always say it's not what you're doing, it's who you're doing it with. So, you could be sat there gutting fish all day. But if the bants was good, and you really like the people, and you got good tunes on, you'd be like, you know what? It's not bad, actually. I like who I work with.
It's the people that make the job, isn't it? That's the thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Whereas you could have your dream job writing for Comedians Weekly magazine or whatever, but if your manager's a cunt, then you'll hate it.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, that's it.
And I think it's so sad, isn't it, as well, that the power is put into the hands of one person.
Yeah.
And that person could and likely will be an absolute jebben.
Yeah. And, you have to question, did they start off that way? And I would say, yeah, predominantly, yeah. And that seems to be the thing that people seek in management is a dickhead. But I've had lovely people that I've worked for before, and they still do the job and like they'll discipline people or whatever. But outside that, they're delightful. It's not impossible.
No, and I think as well, as an adult, you're more likely to respond to somebody. If I was taking the piss and I had a manager who just took me into an office and was like, "Listen, Kathryn, you're taking the piss. I've been good to you. What's the problem here? How can we fix this?" Then I would feel guilty and I would want to fix it. And I'd be like, "Oh, I have been a bellend. I'm so sorry." Or if someone had that respect for you, you don't want to let them down. You don't want to disappoint them. You want to be a part of the team.
Yeah.
Whereas if there's somebody who just screams and shouts at you and doesn't give you a reason or a chance to say, "Oh, well, the reason I've been doing that is X, Y, Z," then you've got no respect for it and you'll just keep doing whatever, right?
Yeah. But also, like, I'm that guy that, I spent so long getting shouted at not shouted at in school. I was very good in school, but, like so long dealing with like bullies or whatever, any kind of bullies, that now I'm in a position in my life where if I see people being horrible to other people, I think, well, this is my opportunity to, like, I'm in a strong enough position, sort of socially and mentally, to say fuck you and be the person that fights for the rights of everyone else, and I'm more than happy to do that, especially if I get to call someone
offer
a prick.
the help.
Yeah,
offer the help that you were not afforded.
Yeah, and like the thing is, I deal so badly with authority anyway, that if I am working for someone that I don't like, then I'm more than willing to lose that job for the sake of having a go at them. Just if it makes life better for everyone else, that's all right.
Mm-hmm. And ultimately, if it's a job that you hate, then not being in it is the push that you need to find something else, isn't it? It's so easy. And also, like, I hate that society is like, "Oh, you men hate your job, you men hate your wife," and you're like, at what point are we meant to like anything?
Yeah.
And it's so damaging, isn't it? Because it's like
that's
you
what
end up
people
staying
say.
in.
Yeah.
You stay in jobs that...
We're an adult. We don't like our jobs. No, that's not true. You can absolutely like your job. You could be happy. But you're choosing not to be. You're trying to be stuck. Just because people in the past had that attitude of, oh, we've just got to go and do this. Absolutely, but you can have a nice. I was talking about this the other day. Like the meaning of life is happiness, because you just got to do whatever you've got to do to be happy. And if you're doing something that makes you unhappy, stop doing it. Like, don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying be irresponsible and just don't have a job anymore. I just mean work for someone that you could do the same job. You might like the job, but if you hate the people, you can do the same job somewhere else. Just it's not as easy as just going, "I'm off, I'm going there." But there are ways around it, and you can be happy. You've just got to choose to be happy.
Yeah,
and we'd all be happier if we were all happier.
Yeah, even those managers, like, a happy person doesn't go into work every morning thinking, "I'm going to shout at an adult like they're a child because I'm fulfilled at home."
Yeah.
Do they? Yeah. And it's damage. Like, happiness is the only quantifiable thing that we've got to measure success, right?
Yeah.
Like, you could be at the top of your game as a comedian, but actually I think that if you couldn't stand the pressure of it, then it could make you really unhappy, in which case you're not successful, are you?
Yeah.
In my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's why sort of, like managers and agents and that are great, because they can relieve a lot of the stress and the pressure that make it particularly difficult to do, but
but they can
there's
also
still a lot of pressure
to
to sort of riot and that sort of thing,
Yeah, but I mean, if you've got an agent that keeps bringing you massive gigs that you're grateful of, but that's a lot of pressure, isn't it? And then the whole, will they drop me? Because they can do that, and they do that.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
They can and they will.
Yeah. Yes. That's another type of pressure, isn't it? That's
Oh, yeah. All kinds of pressure. Yeah, it's, it's not all fun and games.
It isn't. So just find a bit of something that you like. Or, I don't know, it's just damaging, isn't it? The whole growing up with, like, because it's all media, isn't it? It's all just a societal attitude that you should hate it.
Yeah.
And that's so damaging to children, I think. That you should, that a relationship is something that you should have to endure rather than, like, I'm not saying that it's always going to be perfect, and you are going to have times where you're just like, I wish that cunt would just fuck off and leave me alone. But
how's it going,
also, yeah, great. I've not actually had that point yet. We are going to Edinburgh together for a month though, so let's see.
Oh, okay.
But
no, but like
your show? Yeah, he's taking my show. This is mutual friend and my boyfriend Reese.
Mutual friend, mutual boyfriend.
Yes, yeah. He's a wonderful human being. But, like, he makes my life better and happier by being in it. And just, it's very easy and nice. And that is not what you're told a relationship is, largely, are you? Like, especially as a woman, it's like, oh, you're going to have to nag him. Yeah. You're going to have to let him do what he wants, because otherwise you're the bad guy. And it's like, well, actually, I'm not the bad guy. And he will be like, well, I'm going here. Do you want to come too? Not like, oh, I've had to bring the old ball and chain because she'll be angry with me. It's like, I want her to come because I love her.
Yeah.
And it's nice that we can go to things together. You know?
And it's like, even the attitude of people saying, like, opposites attract. I know it sort of sounds like a nice thing, but it suggests that that's the best opportunities to try and find someone who's not into the same things that you are, but that's not true. It can work, sure, like but to find someone with whom you sort of share interests in most things is delightful.
Well, yeah, and as well, I think the opposites attract is true in smaller senses. So, for example, I think that my boyfriend is a little bit more outgoing than I am, a little bit more extroverted than I am. So he is more likely to, whereas I'm a bit of an introvert, and I'll just be like, nah, I don't want to go. I'll stay at home. I don't want to talk to people. Fuck them. Whereas, if he's like, no, tell you what, we'll go for an hour. That's the middle ground there. And I do, and it works out well for me. And that's opposite attitudes to that thing. We both came away kind of happy with it.
Yeah.
I think that kind of opposites attract. But if it was like, if he's Oppenheimer and I'm Barbie, they're not the same, are they? And it'll be fine. Be fine for the first 6 months when the sex is great and you're in love. But, long term, how's that going to pan out?
They're just too different.
They are.
I mean, look at, Romeo and Juliet. Like, they're bloody similar, though. That's the thing, isn't it? They're just from slightly different warring families.
Exactly.
But people say, it's the greatest love story of all time. Is it? Because one of them's dead at the end.
Both of them killed themselves at 14 years old.
I'll be honest with you. I haven't read it or seen the movie. Didn't she come back to life, or did she kill herself after? Because she took a potion to pretend she was dead. He found her, was like, oh shit, she's dead. She had sent him a note saying, don't worry, I'm not dead, but he didn't get the note. So then he was like, oh no, she's dead, I'll kill myself. And then she immediately wakes up and is like, oh no, he's dead, and then she kills herself. Yeah.
And then the families are like, let's be nice to each other. Because loads of kids have died up until that point. But these two children are
they're
the main
ones that
characters of this story. So,
and that's a horrible situation to be in anyway, because just to be in a situation where you say, oh no, my partner's dead, I must immediately kill myself. No one wants that, surely. That's toxic in itself. That just because the other person died, you have to die also.
Yeah, at 14 as well.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I could see myself doing that if I was in my mid-80s, my health was failing, all my friends were dead, and then he's gone. I'd be like, you know what? While we're here, fuck it, eh? Like, there's not much more for me. I could see that.
Then you kill yourself. He comes back to life.
Yeah, no, he was just in a deep sleep. But can you imagine that, having a dagger on the bedside? If you sleep too deeply, I will fucking kill myself. Terrifying.
That is quite the threat. And I sleep deep as well anyway, so that'd be concerning.
Just
and sometimes I stop breathing while I'm asleep. Like, so, it depends how sort of hasty that. My ex always said that like if there was a zombie apocalypse, she'd kill us both because she doesn't want to live in that world. And I'm like, I'm quite sure that I do quite well in a zombie apocalypse, if I'm honest. She's like, too late, I've killed us both. Just like as soon as she hears the news, just goes, okay, bang, bang.
Even if it's just like one isolated zombie that they've got in containment. No, it's done, Si.
But it's the no such thing as it. Like, it was her favourite fact to spread around as well, was, and it came from the no Such Thing as a Fish podcast, that if there was a zombie apocalypse, due to sort of like bacteria and deterioration, all you'd have to do is avoid it for 2 days and it would end. Because,
really?
Yeah, it would be over within 2 days if there was a zombie apocalypse. Like, if the people were dead, like just based on the sort of the deterioration and the inability for the body to work. Obviously, it's a farcical situation because the body wouldn't be able to work, but
no,
yeah.
So is that as in like it would take 2 days for the muscles to have just decomposed beyond?
I guess so, yeah.
Because I thought it took a while for a body to decompose.
Yeah, but I don't know, just to decompose enough for it to be
mush.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't understand, but
no.
Was it 2 days?
Good.
Maybe it was 2 weeks. I don't know. It's 2 something, and it wasn't long.
Because then there would be a second wave and a third wave, wouldn't there?
Yeah.
Of people that you'd have to wait for them to expire again.
Yeah, but then I suppose have you seen The Last of Us, or have you played the game?
I've seen someone play some of the game.
Yeah, that's technically not entirely impossible, because it's based on a real thing.
The pandemic.
No, do you know about it? There's a spore that comes off of trees, from a fungus, one of those, that it basically like it'll land on an ant and then it will sort of take over its body and it kills the ant, but it grows within them and sort of takes like makes use of their like nervous system and then gets them to climb a tree, and then but the ant's been dead the whole time, but like the spore has sort of just created this thing where the ant will climb a tree, so it'll go high up and then grow this fungus, or like I'm sure it's a fungus, and then spreads the spores from that fungus so that it spreads wider and wider, and then it spreads among ants that way. So yeah, that's what The Last of Us is based on. Is this same sort of these same spores, but instead of ants, they just infect humans, and then it spreads that way. So, but then eventually that ant does stop and becomes like part of the tree, which I don't know if that happens to the zombies in Last of Us. I can't remember. I don't think so. But yeah.
Yeah, it sounds terrifying.
Yeah, pretty unpleasant.
Yeah. I hope that doesn't happen. I don't think I'd thrive. I think I would kill myself.
Yeah.
It'd be the easy way out.
Join my ex. Bang, bang.
Yeah.
Do you both? I'll be
Done.
alright. I've got a plan
I think
for
Reese
it.
would be pissed if I killed him.
Yeah,
that was one of
exactly.
our first
I'd be annoyed because I'd be
like-
I can do this. Like, you know, I've got all the advantages. I've got a motorbike so I can get around, and a car, obviously. But like the motorbike's that's the zombie apocalypse dream, isn't it? Having a motorbike.
Yeah, it's the coolest option. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'll get my.
What
I'll
do
get a
I
crossbow.
go for?
Hey.
My motorbike or my Fiat Panda?
Yeah.
I think it will be the motorbike.
Yeah.
It, genuinely, one of our first. Well, no, you know how at like first date people are like, "Do you want marriage? Do you want children?" That kind of, we'll get that out of the way to see if this could be a viable relationship. Our talk was, "Do you have a zombie apocalypse plan? And what is it?"
Yeah.
That was like we need to get this out of the way, and we both do, so it's fine.
And so, what was your zombie apocalypse plan? Just kill yourself?
I mean, yeah, but so like I live in London, so I've got to hope that I'm at home, really.
Yeah.
But I am on the top floor of a building, so
okay,
it's not very
good.
well built. But I also don't have anyone like every wall is an outside wall. So it'd probably be just have lots of tinned food, smash up all the stairs, barricade downstairs so they can't get up, and then just wait it out.
Yeah, which, following the No Such Thing as a Fish podcast, guys, so it sounds like it'd be quite doable. The problem is, would you have killed yourself day one?
I don't think it would be like immediate, but
Okay.
I think if I was holed up, there was like no sign of it ending. It's been months. And I'm like, well, my options here are starve to death, get torn to pieces by a zombie, or kill myself. I think I'd kill myself.
Good grief.
What would you choose out of that?
Well, no, I've got a different plan.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh yeah, my
To
plan's
not
like
be
more
in that
sustainable.
situation.
Yeah, no, my plan is it's got a name as well. The plan's got a title, which is To the Trees, where basically you move to a forest and live like Ewoks.
But there's a lot of cover in a forest, isn't there?
What?
For a zombie, you can't see him coming.
Oh, I see. Well, no, but you're living in a treehouse situation. Like,
You didn't mention that you're going to build a treehouse.
Yeah, so you're going to live in the trees like Ewok. Oh, you don't know how? Have you not seen Star Wars?
No.
Right. Okay. There you go.
Well, I have, but I don't fucking remember it.
Yeah, they've got like a community of like tree houses that are they're connected by bridges, and that's how they live. They live up trees, and they you got roll up ladders, and also if anyone turns while they're in the tree house, push them off.
True. How well do you think that you could build this treehouse, this network of tree houses?
I'd only have to start with one decent one.
You would? What builder's yard are you going to for timber?
Well, if I go to like Hockley Woods, for instance, which is just down the road from me, then there's a couple of builders merchants sort of not too far away, so I'll just go and loot that.
Okay, fair enough. So the plan isn't I'm going to cut down a tree and produce.
No, not gonna. No.
Because that would be insane.
Yeah, that would be a bit much and noisy. Yeah.
Yeah, well noisy.
But then that's good sort of. It's good land to grow crops, and it's next to fields as well, so that's good. That's a good start.
Yeah. So you're going to do that. You're going to grab the timber, throw it on your motorbike.
I'll transport that in the car, and then I'll go back for the motorbike.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I thought this through.
Yeah. What would your weapon of choice be?
Ooh, that's a good question. Right, so when I used to work in Screwfix, because we'd have a lot of downtime, we'd play... I'd come up with hypothetical questions and then would pitch it to the rest of the staff. This was one of them, is what weapon would you have? So, like, I'd ask them, like, what they'd want, and then say, if you were choosing a gun, like, you'd have sort of X amount of rounds or whatever to last you a month, but you'd be able to get more each month, but, like, you'd only have a certain amount. So, like, if you chose, like, a rocket launcher, then you'd get, like, 2 rounds a month, because they're it's pretty effective, isn't it? But, like, if you just say you've got infinite ammo, then it's silly.
It's ridiculous.
I can't remember what my answer was. Oh, right. So there's a book by I believe it's Max Brooks called the Zombie Survival Guide. He's the same guy that wrote World War Z, and
I've read those.
yeah. So there's one in there that's like a Asian weapon. It's like a staff, but it's got like an axe head on the end. And that is, I believe, what I would choose. Oh, no, I'll tell you, I just remembered what I always said it was. It was a fireman's axe.
Yeah.
Because that is...
quite long.
It's quite long, but it's like, you've got the sharp bit on the other side for just sort of popping into skulls, and then you've got the sort of the actual axe head, which is quite useful for like foraging, cutting down trees and that sort of thing. Yeah, that's... Yeah. What about yours?
Well, I don't know really, because it'd have to be what I have available to me, wouldn't it? And I've got a toolbox. I used to do building and stuff, so I've got a toolbox with some pretty nasty looking items in it. I think, really, because you want length, don't you, so that you can keep people away. Keep the zombies away, like a pointy stick of some kind. But you would lose a lot of the momentum of the hit, wouldn't you, if you had something that was too long?
You'd need to be trained.
I don't think that there would be any training schools, because they'd all be dead.
Yeah.
So, I think I keep it simple, early doors, and just take my big yellow hammer.
Yeah.
And, just some substantial gloves so they can't bite through.
Smart.
You could put your biker gear on.
Yeah.
Yeah, got, just tough clothing so they can't get through it on a first one. Hopefully, if they were gnawing at you, they'd be able to get through it. But hopefully you've hit them in the head by then, and you can fuck off.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hit them in the head on a motorbike.
Fortunately, it would have to be hammer and then pointy stick. Yeah.
It's a good option.
Then some kind of... I live in London, so I'm fairly certain I could pick up some kind of firearm.
Oh, sure.
Easily.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Good answer. Right, I'm going to class that as the first of the questions that I ask.
The first.
Because we've just had the timer thing come up, so we've only got 8 minutes left of this chat.
Okay.
So, sort of, rather than doing another 8 minutes waiting after that, we'll crack on and just wrap it up, if that's all right by you. So,
yes.
What's the best lie you've ever been told?
Best lie I've ever been told.
I'll give you an example, give you time to think about it. So, for instance, I used to know a guy who once told me that it was his job to operate a quote-unquote heligun that was mounted to the back of a lorry, and that lorry was transporting 2 cars, each worth £5 million, and it was his job to shoot anyone that tried to steal the cars. And this was an adult. An adult told me that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he was a known compulsive liar. So, yeah.
Yeah, fair. Well, I can't think of one that I've been told, really, but I've got a wonderful one my friend's grandma told to her dad, and that was that only women can see rain through windows. So they would be like, Mum, I want to go out and play. And she'd be like, no, you can't. It's raining. And they'd be like, no, it's not. I can see outside. And she'd be like, only women can see rain through windows. And they were like, well, I'm not a woman, so it must be true.
That's amazing. Oh, that's
yeah,
so
good.
good.
Yeah.
That's so
I don't
funny.
know how old they were when they realised that's not true.
Yeah. That's
It's like
incredible.
it's like the ice cream van only plays the tune when they've run out of ice cream.
Yeah.
Thing, isn't it? Kind of lie.
But that is, I've never heard that before. That's amazing.
It's very good.
It's
Hats
really
off
good.
to the lady.
Yeah, fair play. Cool,
Yeah.
good. Right, I'll ask one more, and then I'll ask you about your Edinburgh show. What's the worst thing you've ever seen, thinking it was something else? So, for instance, Matthew Crosby said that he was walking with his daughter and went to show that, like, they saw a jack-o'-lantern. It was after Halloween. Saw it on the side, and I think he said it was either November or December, so it was quite far after the fact, and they walked up towards it, and it was like pulsating with maggots and.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh no. I live in a share house, and our garden was literally like a bin. So somebody had this awful rug that they didn't want, and what he did was he rolled it up, dragged it outside, and then just sort of let go of it, and it fell to the ground, and that's where it was disposed of. But imagine like years and years of that with hundreds of different housemates.
Yeah.
So at lockdown, what we did was we paid for somebody to come and take it all away, but obviously we had to clean it up and put it outside in the front garden.
Yeah.
For them to come and collect it. And there was just like loads of bags of rubbish, just like carrier bags, bin bags. And I was going over there, and there were some good bits in them, like bikes and shit.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, look, it must be like a little fluffy teddy or something. And what it was a bird, which I assume had gotten into the bag and then couldn't get out of the bag and just died in there. And that was pretty gross.
Yeah, that's upsetting.
Yeah, it's really upsetting. Either that or someone killed a bird and put it in a carrier bag and just threw it into the garden.
Oh, that's much worse. That does sound like
No,
something that you do, though.
Yeah, it does.
Based on your earlier admissions.
Yeah. It's I do have a taxidermy bird. Here, I've got a magpie.
Yeah, that's better. That's all right. Go on, yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you. It's only over here. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. How
Pretty
sweet.
cute, huh?
Yeah. I was going to say, what's her name? And you've literally just told me she doesn't have one.
Don't have a name, no.
Nice.
I always think that names will present themselves, won't they?
Yeah. Maggie.
Maggie the magpie.
Makes sense. Right. Okay. We've only got 3 minutes left. Tell me about your Edinburgh show. Where is it?
I am going to Edinburgh with my show. It is called Scream Inside Your Heart, and it is on at 12 noon at the Three Sisters Wee Room, which is only a little one.
That is an incredible venue and an incredible time. So wonderful stuff.
I'm so excited to do it. It's running from the 3rd to the 20th, so the first 3 weeks of the festival, and it is about dating, finding love, finding yourself, and working for the NHS during the pandemic. I'm also going to be doing a live recording of my podcast called Historical Hot or Not, and that is me and my friend Aidan McCaffrey. We talk about history's greatest figures and whether we'd fuck them or not. It's incredibly highbrow, and that's on at City Cafe, 12:30, again noontime, not midnight time. It's called the Podcast Hour, so they've got loads of different podcasts every day, and we're just on Tuesday the 22nd of August. If you want to come to that, we've got merch made. So I bought some magnets, thinking that they would be like, sort of pin badge size. And they've arrived today, and they are honestly the size of a fucking coaster.
That's amazing.
So if you want an insanely large magnet for quite a low price, please come along. We've got mugs, we've got magnets. I think we might even have tote bags. We've really gone to town on this.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
there you go.
We've also got Johnny's. Got condoms as well.
That is incredible. I probably wouldn't use them. I'd buy one, sure, but...
Just have it as a decorative item.
Yeah. Wonderful. Now, where can people find you online?
Online, I am at Kathryn Comedy on Twitter and at kathmathcom on Instagram, because apparently there's already a Kathryn Comedy, which is upsetting. And at kathrynmather.com. That's my website that I need to update with things.
Wonderful. Cool. And we've got less than 1 minute. Look at that. We've bloody nailed it. Well, thanks very much for coming on. It's been absolutely delightful.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Been meaning to get you on for ages, so I'm glad we've finally done it.
Yeah, me too. It was always a pleasure. Never a chore, Si.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Right, I need to go to the toilet. I'll see you soon.
All right. See you soon. Take care. Bye.
So that was Kathryn Mather. Very fun, very, very fun chat indeed. I've known Kathryn for years, although, as it turns out, in the conversation, not as long as I thought I did, but still quite a while. She's absolutely lovely. She's getting some great success. She did Comedy Central at the Comedy Store a little while ago, and she's got some cool stuff coming up. So again, apologies that I didn't release this in time for her Edinburgh Fringe run, but hopefully, because I heard some brilliant stuff about the show from people that went, so hopefully she'll tour it, and then what you need to do is just go and follow her on her social media, and when she announces that tour, you go and buy the tickets. Does that sound reasonable? Cool. Good work. I've still not actually booked the recording of Cyclops. I will be soon. It's either going to be in Southend or London. If anyone's got any particular preferences over which one it is, you let me know. I'm still going to try and book a couple more tour dates of that, so keep your eyes out on socials. It's not a huge tour, this one. It's just sort of I'm getting it done, and getting the show recorded, and then embarking on some more previews of the new show, Best Thing Ever, and then I'm currently certainly trying to book a tour for the start of next year, which is difficult to do on my own. If any of you are bookers and you want to book my tour show, then bloody get in touch, mate, and I'll come down. Or if you know of a venue near you that could be suitable and you'd want to come, and you think there'd be people nearby who would want to come and watch me do stand-up, let me know. Get in touch at tpartypod@gmail.com. That is the letter T, partypod@gmail.com, or any of the social medias. Email me though, that's probably best. Don't forget to leave the podcast a 5-star review, because that helps with traction on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and rate it well. There'll be more. I've booked some incredible guests. I ran into someone who is one of my dream guests, and he said he'd come on the podcast, so that's wonderful. So I need to sort that out with him, and that'll happen soon. We've got some others lined up that are also brilliant. So yeah, there's some good stuff coming. It's just been a bit of an extremely hectic year leading to this point. So it's getting there. But, and I know I've said this several times already, but this will be becoming